say, oh, it's because he came from a single parent household and his father wasn't around. Yet and still, we have many women, not just in my situation, but in many situations, where women are actively attempting to keep fathers from their children and wonder why these maladapted children are going out into society and killing all of these people. This is the Mike Myers effect. Okay, this is the Mike Myers effect that single mothers are creating. Okay, they're creating this Mike Myers effect with their children, and then you have the audacity to create an organization called Mothers Against Guns. The audacity to call a society, an organization, Mothers Against Guns. What about families against guns? What about parents against guns? No, mothers against guns. Well, I'll say this. A lot of mothers are the reason why so many guns are being shot on the streets, because they are raising maladapted young boys. A boy needs a father figure in his life, okay? A boy needs a father figure in his life. There's no argument. There's just no argument. If you are a mother who is attempting to keep a father away from their child, and then your boy becomes maladapted to the society, and then goes out and creates all of these murders and all of this crime, you have no one to blame but yourself. But a lot of the time in this generation, there's no accountability. Going back to the podcast that I was on, there were three women. This one woman was talking about, oh, my son's father ain't shit, and he knows he ain't shit, and all this kind of stuff. And we hear this all the time from women. But where's the accountability? Why did you choose this guy? What really went on? And are we really supposed to just believe your story just because you said it? No.
I would rather him have me and our family, the whole family, rather than an ain't shit dad. If you're watching this, you know you ain't shit. Influencing him, and it's the fucking truth. I'm not talking that every baby mama should be talking like this, but if you know, then you know he's nuts. And it's some influences. I know it's a hard...
And you're not?
No, I'm not saying I'm not nuts, but not in that way. As you see, I raise my child, and I would never harm them. Some people would harm others.
It's
and
indirect
are not.
harm, though, isn't it? Because
so, no, it's not indirect harm.
Because I feel
this is not what I'm talking about. That's not.
No, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I feel like this is the, and I'll let you girls chime in after as well. But then there's also the element of accountability here as well. It's like you was going to ask your friends, would you have a kid out of wedlock? And you was like, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be your answer.
But how is accountability on us
because
to be having a child out of wedlock when this nigga busting me and got me pregnant? You want to fuck off, and now it's on me for accountability when you want to fuck off.
Hang on.
No.
You said he busting you.
But you know, as you said earlier, if you busting someone, you know what's going to happen.
No, but hang on a minute.
What do you mean accountability?
Are you not head of security for your own vagina?
I'm allowed to have a child if someone busts me.
But are you not head of security for your own vagina? Right. So you can't say he never busting you. Like it wasn't. I'm guessing it wasn't. You can't just say, he busting me. You allowed him to do that.
That's not what we're talking about. But you can't just put it on girls to say, I got impregnated. Because who impregnated me? I didn't impregnate myself.
But this is why the gate. Listen,
I did not impregnate myself. The full blame should not keep being put on women because they got pregnant by niggas that are out here impregnating women.
But Didi,
everyone's involved.
We're gonna break this down.
I'm not saying it's blaming on the man. I'm saying it's split. You are saying it's blamed on the women.
Let me break it down why it's not split. I'll break it down why it's not split.
Pregnant.
Can I break down why it's not split?
A man cannot even have sex with you if you don't say yes.
This is my point. And
yes, they can.
Men in this society are getting very tired of this single motherhood. We are getting very tired of women choosing to be single mothers. Okay? You see the divorce rates. You see that 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. It is women that are initiating the breakup of families. Not men. Not men. It's women that are initiating the breakups of families. There are 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And then women want to cry single motherhood when it's you that's initiating divorces. When it's you that are initiating breakups. It doesn't make any sense. And so when little Mike Myers is created, you want to cry and act like it's the man's fault. No. some accountability needs to be taken here. Now, is that to say that there aren't some men who just don't take care of their children? Of course there are. There are many men that don't take care of their children. But in these days and times, the men that I'm around and the men that I see, Kevin Samuel says it quite eloquently. He says there are a lot of men out there that are husbands, not a lot of women out there that are wives. Yet they want to be a wife, or they want to be a girlfriend, or they want to be a partner, but they don't hold the qualities to be that woman. Whereas there are men out here that hold the qualities to be a husband, to be a long-term partner. But women are bypassing those men and going for men. A lot of women are bypassing those men and going for men who they know are not going to be long-term partners, who they know are probably wronging themselves. And then you choose these men and then you act as if he's the reason why he doesn't see his son or daughter or the children. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no accountability nowadays, guys. Okay, there's no accountability on the women of this generation. And too many women of this generation are talking about being single mums, actively attempting to be single mums. This woman on the podcast that I was on actively said she was going to choose to raise a child by herself. Why would you do that? Why would you actively choose to go and raise a child by yourself? Because the society has told women that you don't need a man. It negates the family structure. It tears the family structure apart. Modern day feminism has a lot to answer for, folks.
I will raise my baby. If you want to fuck off, then you can fuck off.
Our baby mothers,
are
they planned? Because this is what I'm trying to understand the culture. Do you get what I'm saying?
Was your child?
My child was planned. Like my child was planned. So like, is it because like, do we get this culture of baby mother, baby father because children are not planned?
Oh, that is.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's different when you say to me. Because I said I know with my situation, I planned my son. Like my son was planned, so it wasn't a surprise. I didn't think, oh my God, we got to go and do this and da, da, da. My son was actually planned. But a lot of the time when people are having these relationships and stuff, when stuff's not planned, it messes everything up.
Actually, that's an interesting point you just touched on, because that's kind of where I was going at when I asked the question, is that what feeds into the culture is just this kind of blasé of just going in and having fun, and then the byproduct is a baby. Because I think now we're starting to understand a lot of the negative connotations that comes with single parent homes and the effects that has on the kid. So with that knowledge, one, why is it still normalized just to have kids willy-nilly? And two, like, if you understand this, is that why is it so simple?
I would say saying having kids willy-nilly is a very vast and out there statement, because someone could say I had a child willy-nilly because I was with him and then he did all the things he did, so why did I have the kids?
Was it planned?
It wasn't planned, but it was like we lived together in a house. As to that it happened wasn't a shock to anybody.
You were serious enough,
step,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like that was the next thing to happen.
Majority of the children aren't even planned anyway.
No.
Let's be realistic. No.
But then maybe that's the problem.
That
Maybe
feeds
that's
into the
actually the
culture.
problem.
Because obviously, if we're seeing the breakdown of the nuclear home as a consequence of people just having kids, just like the mother, father, children.
What am I saying? Not having a child planned while being in wedlock is very different to not having a child planned and not being in wedlock. Do you know what I'm saying? Like falling pregnant while you're married is just like, well, you're fucking married. Like, what did you expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
But why? Because you can live in a household and not be married and have the same dynamic and have a ring on your finger, and then why I don't get what is so different.
It's the structure.
Yeah, but you can have your whole structure and even be engaged to be married and fall pregnant. That's an accident, but being married is not an accident, but you can be in a worse relationship.
But the thing is, I don't believe... Okay, so that's interesting you say that. Sorry to cut you, but this whole accident thing, like everyone's adults here. If I ejaculate inside a woman, 9 times out of 10, she's going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
That's not an accident.
That was the point I was trying to make when you were saying, why did I decide to have the kid? Because how can I not, whether he's a fucking psycho or not, why would I not have the child that I was in? This was the next step. I'm not going to not do that. Why the fuck would I?
So it's not necessarily why do you have the kid with, it's like, if we know the consequences of raising kids in a non-nuclear family, a non-nuclear home, why are we still
tell me what the consequence is, because my son has been raised in a non-nuclear home. I don't see any consequences with my child.
Well, of course, and a lot of
You
women
probably
don't.
wouldn't,
That's the
though.
problem.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
How old
yeah,
is he?
but 6.
You probably wouldn't yet.
You wouldn't yet still.
That's an evil thing
Yeah,
to
you
say.
No, because when I look,
it does take a village, obviously, to raise a child. It's not fair to say, because obviously I do know, obviously, other men that have been raised in non-nuclear homes, that it obviously, yes, we understand there's struggles for everyone. If you don't know your dad, you're still gonna want to know who your dad is. You're gonna grow up, but everyone has struggles.
But we're seeing a lot of problems pop up in society as a consequence of, and obviously correlation isn't always causation, but so like...
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No. So like there was a BBC study that's saying that 1 in 5 kids are now being born, over the last 20 years, 1 in 5 kids are being born and they're in single parent homes, yeah. And they're saying that based on the studies, they I think it was called the, what's it called? It was called the millennial cohort, where they took a bunch of kids from single parent homes, and every year they tested them to see how they're doing in terms of numeracy, literacy, depression, all that kind of stuff. Spikes in the kids that are born in single parent homes. So of course you might not be able to see it, but a lot of us seem to have this belief that, do you know what? Even if I have a kid, I can just do it alone, and there's no consequences.
And over 70% of the black community specifically, are born in are raised in single parent homes.
And we